Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're now at part 19 of the Great Cleanup. In this episode we're going to give a lot more stuff away. I was really buoyed by the fact that the pallets I put out were taken and appreciated, and the lady that picked up all those foam packing peanuts was really happy with those. So it's good for me to be able to do that. I like that I'm helping other people. I like that it's not going to landfill. So that's all fantastic. So in this episode we're going to give a bit more stuff away. We're also going to do a run out to the transfer station to get rid of some light pressing steel, a bit more e-waste, and then we might get into the shed that I've been promising. You saw a bit of the floor in the last episode, and we'll see if there's any wonderful treasures out there. So come along for the ride. Another clean-up episode, a bit of scrap stuff, a bit of recycling, a bit of lots of saving stuff from landfill, and hopefully we can get the place neat and tidy. I'll also give you any more updates. Now I'm filming this now just before Easter. We're coming into a big weekend, a really busy weekend. I'm going to put a lot of stuff out the front, and some cheap and some free. Got to take advantage of all the people in town. You won't see this probably until after Easter. I'm not aware of any more inspections. I think there's one for next week, but you'll see this later next week as far as where I'm talking from now, and there might be some more to report there in this video. And here's the next stack of pallets I've put outside my back gate, and again I'll put some photos on the local community group, and it's very pleasing to see that people have got a use for them. They could end up in people's gardens, maybe making some compost bins, which I've done before. Even these old bed frames I've put out because they might be handy trellises for beans or something in the garden. But that was a loud motorbike. But even, you know, if people just want to burn them in their shed fire, at least they're getting some use out of them with regards to heat. It would be a shame for me just to make a pile and burn them just to get rid of them. Tomorrow morning I'll be running out to the transfer station again. I'm getting rid of all this light pressing steel. It's just not worth my while taking to Melbourne. That whole trailer load would probably be lucky to make 150 kilos, so not much value there. I'm happy to take it out to the transfer station where it will be recycled. I've also got a little bit more e-waste to take out, so we'll do that first thing in the morning. Now, in line with giving things away, I have a few other things that I've been putting out the front of my shop. I had a stack of these old Bedsprings, which I was making some things out of. Well, I'm happy to give those away. There might be some people wanting to use them for upcycling or something. Short lengths of PVC pipe for free. I'll just keep that tub stocked because I'm always finding bits of that out the back. If someone wants to take the tub, they're welcome to it. It's actually the inner lining out of a washing machine. And from a shed clean out I did ages ago from a deceased estate from an electrician, there was a lot of new old stock light globes. So it's pointless me keeping them. I've got more than I need, so I'll put these out for free as well. Hopefully people can find something that's useful there. I know the old incandescent globes aren't used so much anymore, but I can take them to the transfer station for recycling, but we'll see if I can give them away first. I talk about the transfer station all the time. This is where it is. It's about 5 kilometres out from town, and I've just backed into the scrap metal bay, which has actually just recently been emptied. So back right in, unload all this stuff, maybe throw a couple of nice bits that I find into the back of the ute. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to be bringing stuff in, I'm supposed to be taking it away. This is what I picked up out at the transfer station right next to where the ute and trailer were parked. The attendant was busy with someone else, so I lobbed these in the back of the ute. Great big heavy chunk of steel there, just a double sprocket from something, but good heavy steel. There's a block made of aluminium, and it's got a large bronze bush in there which should tap out pretty easily. Now, any of your scrappers, does your yard buy bronze bushes separately from brass, or does it all go in one? I've always kept bronze bushes separate because I think they've got a much higher copper content. So just, yeah, comment underneath if you get a different price for them. I'll ask the yard at some stage. Now these were also thrown out. Now they look brass. It's actually English made. So sometimes, yeah, I'd say that's brass. Sometimes they are just plated steel. Obviously the picture, it's just a sticker, that's fine. They do occasionally have a metal wire, a steel wire rim around it, but that one doesn't, so that one's totally brass. I don't think it's worth selling. It looks like it was some trophy. And there's another one in here, a typical scene, a sailing ship, and that has got, look at that, that has got a steel wire running around the outside, so we can't put that in brass unless we actually take the wire out. But that one's in good enough condition. I think I'd get $5 for that in the shop. It's quite light, so even as good brass, we'd be lucky to get $1. So we'll put that in the shop for $5. What else did we get? Well, a large big urn, or vase, I guess it's a vase. It's a bit dented there. Yeah, I think it would be brass. It's not magnetic. So, look, we could probably, I reckon we'd still sell that. I think, oh, it's a bit dented at the top too. But I reckon the weight isn't going to be, it's going to be only a couple of dollars for brass. I reckon there's a good chance we'll get $10 for that in the shop. I may as well, even though I'm not supposed to be putting stock into the shop from elsewhere. It's silly to put it in the brass bin if I can get more than twice in the shop. Now I grabbed this lamp only because it's actually a 1960s planet lamp. See, there's a, it might be a bit later than the 60s. It doesn't look like the original sticker, and it hasn't got the base. But these planet lamps come in different colours and they're very saleable. And this one, even though it's a bit bent up, I think I'll use this for parts because quite often the switch on them plays up, and hopefully the switch is okay. Plus the springs are quite clean, they're not overly rusty. So it was worth just grabbing for parts. We also got a starter motor off something that can just go in with my electric motors, since I'm doing a load next week. A big chunk of aluminium, so nice and clean. And we have a sprinkler head that's got a big brass fitting on the base. It's been pretty well damaged there, but worth getting for the brass. And a piece of cast aluminium. Now these are all sitting on the ground right next to where I backed in. Would you leave them there? I think not. Just for those of you who follow my channel who aren't scrappers and wonder why we get so excited about dirty old metal, which most would consider to be rubbish, I just knocked this bronze bush out of here. I'm going to put it in with my gunmetal, which is a higher concentration of copper. It's an alloy like brass, but is a bit more copper. See, it's quite a pinkish look to it there. So why do we get excited about this? Well, it satisfies our hunter-gatherer genes, and it's like money in the bank. Now, brass is $8.40 a kilo at the moment. This is over half a kilo. So even if it went as brass, it's $4.20. Gunmetal should pay more, say $5. And even the dirty old piece of aluminium is paying $2 a kilo at the moment. So there's almost 2 kilos, so $4, so almost 10 bucks. Now, a scrapper picks that up off, in the dirt, nearly 10 bucks. If you saw a $10 note, you'd pick it up. Obviously, we've got to take it to the yard and all that sort of stuff, but the enjoyment is accumulation, and I'm doing loads down there quite regularly now from what I've accumulated over 20 years, and it's certainly paying some bills. So, hope you understand that a bit more. Most scrappers will already totally understand me. I just thought I'd explain it for those of you that don't. Okay guys, it's after Easter now. We had a really busy Easter. The shop was very busy. I did sell a lot of stuff. Let's do a walk around the yard before we finish this video up. You can see that I actually have made a lot of progress with regards to space in my yard. Coco can charge around now without actually running into a thing, although she is pretty coordinated, aren't you? So the yard's looking better. That next lot of pallets all went as well, and I actually spoke to the guys as they were loading them up, and they were most grateful. Some were going to be used, some were going to be firewood, and I did suggest that I had a big pile of wood in my yard that I'll be clearing at some stage, and he even offered to bring his trailer around so I could load his trailer up. So that's great. I won't have to have any bonfires here to clear stuff up. He's happy to take it whenever I'm ready. So this part of the yard hasn't really improved much, but getting rid of all the pallets was great. It's made the path wider. It's reduced the amount of, well, certainly the amount of timber in the yard, other than this pile here. What else? We got rid of all the light globes. They're gone. They disappeared slowly at first. I think people were just taking a few for their own use, and then someone must have just decided to take all the boxes, so that's fantastic. Let's have a look down the back lane here. I haven't done any more about loading for another load of scrap to Melbourne yet, but we'll be doing that probably next week maybe. But the trailer's actually out of the lane here now, and I have moved that old slasher frame round to the front and put a price on that. So it's looking a little less cluttered here. So yeah, things are going really well. I also got rid of, let's walk back while I'm talking. I also got rid of most of the Bedsprings. People took them over the weekend. One lady asked for a box, and I think she took about half of them for upcycling projects, so that's fantastic. I think some of those lengths of PVC pipe have gone. I've been adding a few more to the tub. The grass is starting to die off here. I think I mentioned I did do some Roundup spraying last time, and someone mentioned I shouldn't have, which I didn't want to, but it's just a matter of getting it organised. She suggested vinegar, which would have worked. I have actually killed weeds with vinegar before. However, you need to keep at it. It's not just one dose and they die. And she also suggested running chooks in the yard. Well, I have actually considered that over the years, and chooks equals chickens for all you guys overseas. The problem with that is that Coco would probably have chicken for dinner. So yes, that wouldn't work so well. Anyway, I'm getting into the shed, and I will show you a few things I found in here. I have done a few nights, well, I've been doing just about every night back here lately, but because it's rained for the last 2 days, I've actually been inside, and you can see this shed actually leaks a little bit. So I dragged that bag out from under the bench, not knowing what was in it, and upended a nice pile of copper. I'm finding copper everywhere. One of the things when you've kind of been a bit of a scrapper and disorganised for many, many years is that you find tubs full of copper all over the place. Another prime example. Look at that. I think I scrapped out a welder one time and cut up all the lengths of copper. It was an old welder, so that wasn't aluminium windings, they were all copper. So this bucket was under the bench with a lid on it and covered in other stuff. And I'm going to put it on the scales now and show you what it weighs. So what do we got? That's pretty well zeroed. The plastic bucket won't weigh a lot. And we've got almost 20 kilos. At the current price of nice clean copper, that's over $200. Probably $220 to $240. How's that, Coco? Hey, isn't that exciting? Well, okay, I am. $200 present under my bench that I'd totally forgotten about. So that will go in my copper stash. I have been cleaning out some old paperwork from inside, so I'll get rid of that soon. My worms have a detailed knowledge of my financial affairs, so they'll probably eat those old bank statements and things, or else I may have to light the incinerator and just get rid of a bit. So that's about it for this episode. I haven't found anything exciting in the shed otherwise. I have been feeding a lot of stuff into the shop, just boxing up various hardware, tubs of bolts, tubs, all this sort of stuff that I've kept thinking that'd be handy one day. Well, some of it has been, and some of it can now be handy for other people. But the space in this yard is just gradually growing. It's fantastic. It's a nice cleansing exercise, and it would have been nice to probably make myself do this anyway, but sometimes we need a bit of a catalyst to kick us up the bum and get us working. So this is coming along very nicely. So we'll finish up this episode now. That's episode 19. The next one, number 20, what will we do? Just continue cleaning. There's going to be some work done inside, more done in the backyard. The next video will probably be a scrap run maybe, or I have actually done a repair video on something I've had to fix inside. I've also got a couple of scrap videos going, so I'm going to keep mixing them up for you. But as far as the Great Clean goes, well, we're up to episode 20 next. It will be coming fairly soon. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but we'll make it up. The progress on the sale, there's only 10 days to go as we speak now, till the auction. There was supposed to be an inspection this week and it got cancelled. Interestingly, the time they were supposed to be coming through was 3 o'clock yesterday, and at 3 o'clock yesterday I was putting little buckets down the hallway to catch drips because the roof was leaking. So it would have been an interesting time for an inspection. There is a few drips in the shop and down the house, and every time it rains heavily I've got to put little buckets out to catch the drips. Anyway, so no more news there. There certainly hasn't been a lot of interest. We had a few inspections earlier on, nothing since. So I'll be very surprised if there's any bidding at the auction, but we'll see what happens. 10 days time, I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.